I spent 100 days in Minecraft as the Stone Hashira. Would I be able to survive 100 days and defeat the King of Demons? Stay tuned to find out. In order to achieve my ultimate goal of defeating the Demon King, I needed to complete a series of trials, each one tougher than the last, with the first trial being to slay a demon. Unfortunately, I wasn't off to a great start. I spawned in at night, which meant that demons could spawn, and right now they were much stronger than I was, so I had to be very careful. In an attempt to get stronger, my first goal was to get tools, and luckily I found a village nearby. I decided to mine the village houses for wood and cobblestone, and quickly crafted some stone tools. Now that I had a weapon, I started to feel a lot more confident, but that didn't last long, because right after that, I witnessed an iron golem fighting a demon, and decided it was best not to stay in that village. But before I left, I needed food, so I spotted some hay bales nearby and decided to make a run for it. Although there were demons less than 10 blocks away, I was fast enough to not get spotted. After breaking enough hay bales, I crafted them all into bread. Finally, I had a decent food supply. But after getting food, now comes the hard part. I had to kill a demon. You see, in order to progress and get stronger, I needed to join the Slayer Corps, and the only way to do that was to kill a demon. With only stone tools, that would be very difficult, but I had a strategy. However, the strategy would only work on Steve or Alex skin demons, since they were the weakest demons. Fortunately, finding one didn't take that long. Unfortunately, he almost killed me, ending the entire world right there. But after I managed to build up, all he could do was look at me like a headless chicken. Like I said, this strategy didn't work on stronger demons. But for now, please don't judge me. I have no armor and only stone tools. After a while of slashing him, I finally killed the demon and joined the Slayer Corps. This gave me a lot of cool loot that I couldn't take a look at, since I got attacked by a stronger demon immediately after. If you look at the chat, you can see that the demon attacking me instantly killed my crow. That little guy didn't even get to live for 20 seconds. But keep this info in mind, since it's important for later. Since this demon was stronger than the other ones, I couldn't build up to defeat him. This means that my only hope of survival is to run. Thankfully, the night was almost over, and if you didn't already know, demons don't like the sun. Like at all. In fact, the sun can kill even the strongest demons within mere seconds, which is what thankfully happened to the demon following me. After getting extremely lucky and somehow surviving the first night, I decided to take a small breather and take a look at the tools and equipment that I got from joining the Slayer Corps. Among them was the default Demon Slayer armor, and obviously the Stone Hashira's weapons and outfit. I was excited to test them out, but before I did, I realized that I had a major issue. Let me explain. In this world, there are 4 major landscapes, but you can ignore the 4th one for now. Typically in this world, you get access to the location of these mountains via your crow, but if you can remember, my crow had been killed by a demon immediately after joining the Slayer Corps. Since these mountains could spawn tens of thousands of blocks away, finding them without a crow would be nearly impossible. My solution to this problem was to craft a nature's compass, an item that once created lets you search up any biome in the game and shows you where it's located. Since it needed 4 iron and 1 redstone, that means we had to go mining. I remembered seeing a cave near the village, so I decided to head there immediately. After finding it, I realized it was quite dark, so I decided to mine some coal and to craft a torch to carry with me for constant light. After this, it was time to head in. I had to focus on what I was really here for. I needed iron and redstone for the nature's compass, so I quickly mined some iron and crafted some furnaces to be able to smelt it. I waited for it to finish melting, and after I was done, I decided to craft an iron axe, since I would need it for later to craft the nature's compass, and an iron pickaxe to mine some redstone. Since redstone was found in a deeper Y level, I decided to go exploring deeper into the cave and ended up finding redstone right away. But since I was already down here, I thought it would be a good idea to get some diamonds for the enchanting table so I could enchant in the future. I then went ahead looking for diamonds, and I actually found some right away, but it ended up just being a single one, and since I needed 5 in total, I had to keep looking. But that was gonna have to wait, since I found Nezuko just chilling in the cave. Nezuko has a really unique ability. If you right click her with one of your weapons out, she grants the weapon a really valuable enchantment called Red Sword. Red Sword gives your weapons higher damage against demons and prevents them from regenerating, which is really strong. Nezuko only gives you Red Sword 1, and the enchant goes up to 5. Getting Red Sword 5 was the main reason behind me wanting an enchanting table, so getting Red Sword 1 was a really lucky find. After that, I ended up finding a spawner, but there wasn't any good loot inside, so let's just skip over that. The much crazier find was a deep dark biome right below the cave. Right now we weren't nearly strong enough to kill wardens, so I decided to leave it alone for now and return later. Not long after, I found more diamonds, and this time there were 4 in total, which were all the diamonds we needed. Now that I had everything, it was finally time to leave the cave, so I made my way back to the start and immediately started heading towards the forest. Getting 4 iron and 1 redstone was enough to craft the compass, but for the nature's compass, we would need 4 saplings and 4 logs, so I got to chopping down trees. After waiting for a bit, I ended up getting all the saplings I needed, and it was finally time to craft my nature's compass. First, I had to make the compass, then 4 logs in a cross shape, and 4 saplings in the corner. Now that I finally had it, I could search up any biome in the game. Before heading out to explore, I thought it would be a good idea to sleep. So on the morning of day 5, I finally headed off to Mount Natakumo in the search of a lower moon. Since it was 3,400 blocks away, I ended up sightseeing a lot of different Minecraft biomes, and even had to traverse the ocean. But as it was turning night, I finally reached it. I used the 5th form to scale the mountain and immediately encountered my first demon. After I began fighting it, I somehow instantly progressed through 3 whole demon slayer ranks. I'm pretty sure the reason I progressed 3 ranks immediately was because there was a Hashira nearby that killed some really powerful demons, and I ended up getting credit for it. Just in case you didn't know, ranking up was the primary way to get stronger as a slayer. At the moment, I was Kanoe, which was rank number 7. The highest rank obtainable was Hashira. In order for me to have a chance against upper moon demons, being a Hashira was pretty much a requirement. That means I would have to progress 4 more ranks to reach the highest rank of Hashira. This power boost would prove necessary in the upcoming battles. Feeling a lot more confident, I would proceed to kill quite a lot of demons lurking around the mountain, all while searching for the lower moon and his family. Eventually, I found the first member of his family, that being his sister. I prepared to have a difficult and arduous battle, but after she missed trapping me with her cocoon, I ended up swiftly killing her and ranking up to Hinoto. But before having time to celebrate, I found another member of his family right next to me, so I started attacking from range. But the fight quickly turned upside down when 2 more demons and a demon slayer joined in. Killing his father didn't end up being too difficult, and alongside the demon slayer, I ended up taking care of the weaker demons. The rank ups were really proving helpful around this time, because I was considerably stronger than before. Shortly after, I got jump scared by his brother hanging from a tree and proceeded to completely destroy him with a single move. After this, I was starting to think I was a bit too strong, and with 1 more opponent left, I decided to waste no time trying to find the lower moon himself. Considering how the rest of his family went, I figured I would just get this over with. But finding Rui took a lot longer than I thought, and it started turning to day. As soon as I thought I was gonna have to wait till the next night, I ended up getting attacked from behind. That's when I noticed Rui was right behind me, and right next to him was the first Hashira I'd seen this entire playthrough. Gyutomioka, the water Hashira. Instantly we pushed him against a corner and he proceeded to launch a goddamn reversal red that got me down to 2 hearts. Thankfully, Gyu was there to finish him off, but if he wasn't, I would be 100% dead. Nearly dying and losing the entire world to a lower moon made me realize I wasn't anywhere near as strong as I thought I was. Despite ranking up 4 times, I still almost died. I was definitely going to have to prepare to fight against the upper moons. In an attempt to get stronger, my next mission was to find a Slayer village, but these villages weren't too common. So on the morning of day 10, I went exploring. A while into my journey, I ended up finding a mysterious house. Since the sun was starting to set, I'd figured I would take shelter in this house during the night. But right after I was gonna head in, a random guy came outside while taking damage. But he seemed to be friendly, so I mostly ignored him and went inside to check out the house. I found some interesting potions, but for the most part, there wasn't much inside. So I placed down my bed and went off to sleep. On the morning of day 14, I went exploring. And a couple days later, I finally found what I was looking for. A demon slayer village. It was everything I thought it was gonna be. Tons of houses completely lit up with stacks of food in the chests. I went from house to house looting everything of importance. I even found some golden apples and tempura, also known as the best food source in the game. To put it into perspective, tempura gives 40 bars of saturation, while steak gives 6.5. But right after this, I made a terrifying discovery. In this world, there is an item that allows for travel to the Infinite Castle, our final destination and home to the strongest of demons. The item that takes you there happened to be inside of this village, Nakime's Biwa. I was not anywhere near strong enough to head there right now, so I placed a marker to not forget where it was. But mark my words, one day I would be strong enough to conquer this Infinite Castle. But for now, I left it alone because I wanted to find a place to call home. My building skills were mediocre at best, so I decided to hijack one of these cool looking houses and make it my own. After I found a cool house near the entrance, I did some mild remodeling and placed down some chests to finally have some storage. After I finally had a place to call home, I knew it would be time for an upgrade. My next goal was to head to Mount Sagiri, the demon-filled mountain, and kill all of the lower moons. I decided that in order to stand a chance, I was gonna need an enchanting table. I already had the diamonds from our mining trip, so I headed off to find a lava pool and get some obsidian. I did end up finding one as it was turning night, but instead of sleeping, since it was relatively close to the village and I only needed 4 obsidian, I decided to just go for it. This ended up being a mistake, because right after I finished mining the obsidian, I ran into another lower moon, Enmu. We got into a fierce battle. He used tentacles that sprung up from the ground to attack me from range. I countered with the third form in order to attack them all around me. After this, I went for some close range hits and ended up triggering his second phase. He turned into a train. I was starting to get low from his relentless attacks, but with no other option, I went straight in for the kill, and with 5 hearts remaining, I got the kill on my second lower moon. This time, I didn't actually need a Hashira's help, and it felt good to know I could at least hold my own against stronger demons. After this, I rushed immediately back home to sleep through the night, just in case any other demons appeared. Looking back, if it wasn't for my upgraded food source, I'm not sure if I would have won that fight. Regardless, I had gotten the 4 obsidian I needed, which meant I only needed sugarcane and leather to craft my enchanting table. The only issue was that I needed quite a lot of them, specifically 135 sugarcane and 45 leather. So I went on an adventure to kill some cows and break some sugarcane. After quite a while, I ended up with 61 leather and 34 sugarcane. That meant I was already done with collecting leather, and all I needed to focus on was the sugarcane. Before heading off to look for more sugarcane, I decided to plant the sugarcane I already had. That way it would be fully grown by the time I got back. I made a trench right outside my house. I placed some water inside the trench and sugarcane on the sand. Now that it was planted, it was time to go on another adventure. But since I had already picked up all the sugarcane near my house, I had to travel quite a ways further. I spotted some sugarcane near a village, but since it was raining, that meant that the sun was blocked off and that demons could spawn. After breaking the sugarcane, I decided to take shelter at the top of the cathedral. I ended up having to wait for quite a while until it turned to night and I could finally go to sleep to clear the rain. For the next couple of days, I just adventured around looking for more and more sugarcane. I'll spare you the details, but after quite a while, I came back with 56 sugarcane. I broke down the sugarcane that fully grew and ended up with 155 in total, which was more than enough to craft a full enchanting table. Finally, I crafted the paper. I turned it into bookshelves and made the enchanting table. I placed it down alongside all the bookshelves and checked what enchants I could obtain. I got pretty lucky with Fortune 3 on my pickaxe, but to my surprise, I couldn't actually enchant my Demon Slayer armor at all. This whole time, I thought that I would have full protection 4 gear when it came to fighting against stronger demons, and that's when the realization hit me that I was going to have to head to Mount Sagiri without any enchants whatsoever. Despite this massive setback, I knew I didn't have much time to waste, especially after losing so many days trying to obtain the enchanting table. So I quickly enchanted my pickaxe with Fortune 3 and equipped my nature's compass to locate Mount Sagiri. As if things couldn't get any worse, Mount Sagiri ended up being 13,000 blocks away. Even at max speed, that journey would take multiple days. In an attempt to go faster, I ended up discovering that I could spam my 4th form to dash forward, making my movement significantly faster. Either way, I had to get moving, so I immediately started heading towards Mount Sagiri. Along the way, I ran past a village, multiple forests, a jungle, and even had to cross the ocean. But as I was reaching land, it started turning night, and there was a demon waiting for me. I quickly docked and used my 5th form to take care of the demon and head to sleep. This kill earned me a much needed rank up. I was now Kinoto, rank number 9, which meant there were only 2 more ranks to go before I reached the rank of Hashira. I was still a couple of thousand blocks away, so I kept exploring through a frozen tundra and a taiga until I realized I was less than 300 blocks away. I decided to wait until night to enter the mountain, since in the day the demons wouldn't appear anyways. Before I knew it, it quickly turned night, and even before heading in, I saw my first lower moon, Rokuro, and immediately engaged in combat. I attacked him with my 1st form and then wanted to go in with 3rd form, but I got interrupted by a demon called Susumaru. I then spotted the hand demon lurking nearby, so I decided to take care of him first so he wouldn't intervene. After killing him, I went back to the lower moon and kept attacking him with a relentless barrage of hits, and alongside a fellow slayer, we ended up killing him for good. This gave me a promotion to Kinoe, meaning there was only 1 more rank to go to reach the rank of Hashira. After that, I swiftly killed Susumaru for interrupting us, and searched for more lower moons in this mountain. Not long later, I saw the drum demon Kyogai, which I quickly disposed of, but right next to him was Kamanue, another lower moon. I used my 3rd form to deal reliable damage, but he pushed me flying with an explosive attack. Afterwards, I decided to use my 5th form, that way his explosions couldn't hit me, but he had a similar idea of going up to the sky as well, so my attacks didn't really hit him. Afterward, we exchanged blows for a bit, and I finished him off with another 3rd form, finally obtaining the rank of Hashira, the absolute strongest. Afterwards, it started raining, and to celebrate my achievement, I went around killing weaker demons remaining in the mountain. It's crazy to think that on day 1, I had to build up to kill these demons, and nowadays they don't even stand a chance. But in this world, every time you feel just a little bit confident, something always happens. This entire time, I was so busy fighting the lower moons that I hadn't noticed the vases around the floor of the mountain. Those vases belonged to an upper moon, Gyoko, and not long after, he finally found me. He ended up spawning goldfish demons that attacked me in groups. Against them, I was more than strong strong enough, but when he attacked me himself, my health disappeared near instantly. Because of the poison, it made it difficult to see how many hearts I had left, but I decided to retreat for a moment, and that's when I realized I was at 1.5 hearts. He almost one-shot me. Despite the fact that I just became a Hashira, he still almost one-shot me. And he was Upper Moon 5. There were 4 more Upper Moons stronger than he was. Thankfully, he lacked mobility, so I was able to run away and quickly regenerate. I thought about retreating and fighting the Upper Moon another day, but I decided against it. There wasn't much I could do to get stronger anyways, so expecting death, I decided to fight him head on. And that's when a miracle occurred. After enough sufficient damage, I unlocked my Demon Slayer mark. This was a massive power boost that could only be granted to the strongest Demon Slayers. After unlocking my mark, I was able to tank a lot more hits and even dish out much higher damage. Attacks that would leave me almost dead before only did a couple of hearts, and thanks to my high saturation food, I could regenerate that almost instantly. I kept going into attack and burst, using the trees and dense forest to my advantage. After doing this for quite a while, I ended up getting him to his second phase. Instead of teleporting through the vases, he transformed into a much more muscular version that jumped around, dealing explosion damage when he landed. He was also much faster than before, making him much tougher to hit. I resorted to using my 5th form and barraging him with hits from above. Afterward, I switched to my 3rd form and ran straight at him, finally killing him. I had killed an Upper Moon. I started thinking back to when I struggled against a single demon, when I almost died to Rui Satoru and his reversal red, when I almost died to a train. Now I was finally standing up to the strongest of demons, and the Demon King wasn't too far off. Although there were 6 Upper Moons in total, only 3 of them could spawn in the overworld. Since we just killed Gyoko, that meant there were only 2 Upper Moons remaining, Gyutaro and Hantengu. Now that I had killed an Upper Moon, the chances of me encountering another one were much higher. After killing Gyoko, I ended up leaving Mount Saigiri and found a nearby house, thinking you could have some helpful loot. I checked inside, and waiting for me was actually Upper Moon 6. I immediately engaged in combat to kill Daki, because you see, Upper Moon 6 was different from the other Upper Moons. There were actually 2 demons inside the same body. After killing Daki, the actual Upper Moon showed up, Gyutaro. If I fought 2 powerful demons inside a close room, I would probably die, so I decided to take advantage of my mobility and ran outside. I fought them while circling the house, switching between my 3rd form and 5th form to deal reliable high damage. I landed on top of the fence and attacked them from long range with my 1st form. Afterwards, I decided to take a more advantageous position and used my 4th form to dash on the ceiling and finish them off with a 5th form into a 3rd form combo. After killing both Upper Moon 6 and Upper Moon 5, there was only 1 Upper Moon remaining in the overworld, so I decided to waste no time and head back home. The reason why is because the final Upper Moon was Upper Moon 4, Hantengu, and he had a chance to appear in Swordsmith villages. A Swordsmith village happens to be where I decided to make my home. Because of this, I decided to head back home, hopefully finding the final overworld Upper Moon. Since I was 13,000 blocks away, this would take a while, but either way, I made it back home eventually. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the Upper Moon. The only one waiting for me was a Tanjiro. I decided I would head off in the morning to look for other Swordsmith villages, but that's when I heard a loud sound outside. Turns out the Tanjiro at my base had found the Upper Moon and started attacking him, so I instantly jumped in. Fighting Hantengu was different from the other ones, because this time I had some help. Tanjiro had access to sun breathing, the strongest breathing style in the entire world, and because of this, he did insane damage to the Upper Moon. I decided to let Tanjiro take the lead and focus on attacking Hantengu's countless striking trees. After continuing to kill tree after tree, I noticed Tanjiro wasn't around anymore. Hantengu had killed him, but Tanjiro's death wasn't in vain, because he left Hantengu very low HP, so I immediately rushed in and killed the Upper Moon. After killing Hantengu, I wanted to enter the Infinite Castle and finally kill the Demon King, but I knew that if I did that right now, I would definitely die. The Upper Moons are ranked by strength, and so far we have killed the weakest 3 out of 6. The strongest demons are still very much around and very much alive. Before entering the Infinity Castle, I wanted to get some final preparations. There were 3 goals I had to accomplish, but I'm not going to waste your time, so let's go quick. The first thing I wanted to obtain was a Protection 4 diamond helmet. I realized that I actually didn't have any armor on my helmet slot, and figured this would be a great help. Since I had Fortune 3 on my pickaxe, I decided to go mining. I ended up finding a nearby ravine and spending several days inside the cave. Over the next couple of days, I got quite lucky and actually found quite a bit of diamonds. Since we only needed 5 for a helmet, I ended up resurfacing and making my way back home. Since I had more than enough diamonds and levels to spare, I went ahead and made 2 helmets. On one helmet, I ended up getting Unbreaking 3, and on the other, I got Respiration 3 and Protection 4, so I combined them to make the dream helmet. Goal number 1 completed. For the next goal, we have to head to Mount Yoko and mine for Scarlet Ore. Let me explain. Originally, I wanted to obtain Red Sword 5 much earlier through enchanting. However, it's actually impossible to enchant Red Sword 5 onto your weapon. So after doing some research and consulting a friend, we came up with another possibility. Just to remind you, Red Sword 5 is the enchant that helps to deal a lot more damage to demons, and probably the best enchant in the game. So it was a real necessity. See, when you activate your Slayer mark, the weapon you're holding actually gets enchanted with Red Sword 2, and this is a process that can be repeated as many times as needed. So we theorized that if I managed to get my hands on another one of Gyomei's swords, that I could activate my Demon Slayer mark enchanted with Red Sword 2 and combine both swords for Red Sword 3, and that I could repeat this process again and again all the way up to Red Sword 5. The problem is, there was only a single way of obtaining Gyomei's swords again, to talk with Haganaduka, the blacksmith, and have him make me the weapon. But there was only a chance he would give you the correct weapon, and every attempt he would need scarlet ore, and the only way to get scarlet ore was to mine it at Mount Yoko. I ended up spending the next several days mining scarlet ore and trading it to Haganaduka. Eventually, I got 2 pairs of Gyomei's swords. Since the process took much longer than I anticipated, I wanted to test if it worked before continuing to get more weapons. So I made an anvil with the iron in the mountain and enchanted both weapons with Red Sword 2 by activating my mark. I tried combining them, and it didn't work. It wasn't all a failure, since I realized my main weapon still had Red Sword 1 instead of Red Sword 2 because of the Nezuko, so I ended up getting a slight upgrade. Either way, it is what it is. I still don't think there's a single way to get Red Sword 5. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. My third and final goal was the funnest, and for this I had to head back to my original starting village. I'm not sure if you remember, but back in the first cave, when I went mining, there was a deep dark biome. Those biomes can contain regeneration potions and enchanted golden apples, but back then, we weren't nearly strong enough to challenge the wardens. Now, well, I guess we'll find out. After traveling for a while, I made it back to the starting village, and immediately found the cave, and headed straight in. Finding the deep dark didn't take long, so I entered it prepared for the worst. I ended up looting a chest and finding a golden apple right away, and not long after, I accidentally summoned a warden. The wardens blinded my screen, so it was really difficult to see where it was, but after I found it, I started attacking, and completely shredded through its HP. I ended up killing multiple wardens without taking a single heart of damage. I was completely overpowered at this point. I was able to loot the deep dark free of mine, and ended up getting 4 enchanted golden apples and 2 potions of regeneration. These would prove extremely helpful in the infinite castle, and with that, I left the cave and headed back home. With all 3 of my goals completed, it was finally time to head inside the final destination this world had to offer, the Infinity Castle. I had finally made it to the demon's stronghold. All around, there were interlocking buildings with seemingly no end. You see, in this place, I had to defeat 3 demons, the strongest of the upper moons. After looking around, I started seeing that some of the buildings were bigger than others, and decided to make my way towards the closest one. I mined into the building and traversed through a seemingly endless path, eventually finding myself in an open room, which on the other side of was Akaza, Upper Moon 3. I wasted no time, activated my mark, and attacked him with my first move. Let the first fight begin. He used his move called Compass Needle, which boosted his physical prowess. Afterwards, he began attacking me. I decided to go in with Stone Skin, but then realized that he was a close combat fighter. If I could just gain some distance, I could damage him while he couldn't hit me. So I switched to my 5th form and gained some altitude over him while raining down damage. But his attacks were too relentless, so I switched to my 3rd form in an attempt to balance the fight. I would continue to charge him and trade blows, using my 3rd form over and over again, slowly trickling down his HP. With my high saturation for my boar meat, I thought I would be the one to win the battle of attrition. When I saw he was low HP, I switched to my 4th form to prevent him from running and triggered his 2nd phase. He regenerated his head and went back to attacking me, but shortly after ended up dying, and this time it was for good. I spent the next several days traversing the Infinity Castle. Eventually, I found a room with water leaking from the floor, which piqued my interest, so I made my way inside, and waiting for me was Upper Moon 2, Doma. He was seemingly stuck in his own water, so I rushed in trying to take advantage of the situation, but ended up accidentally freeing him. He attacked me with icicles that rained down on me, continuously dealing damage the entire fight. That meant I couldn't drop my guard at all. I went in with 3rd form, trying a similar strategy to what killed Akaza, a relentless barrage of hits, and a battle of attrition. But he ended up summoning ice flowers that dealt a ton of damage when nearby, and a mini version of himself that summoned more flowers and more ice spikes. I ended up getting pretty low with less than half of my health remaining, so I ran away and ate my first enchanted golden apple. With the absorption and regeneration I got from the golden apple, I knew it was time to attack. I decided to go in again close range with Stone Skin, but this time I ended up getting him stuck in a corner. I used my 5th form and then finished him off with a close range attack. If it wasn't for my healing items, I would have died, but thankfully I didn't. And now that I had killed my second upper moon, there was only a single one remaining before the Demon King. So I wasted no time and started searching. While searching for upper moon 1, I found a ton of demons laying on top of a rooftop. I began attacking them and completely massacred dozens of demons attacking me all at once. No matter how many attacked me at once, it felt like it wouldn't matter. Seeing how far I'd come since day 1 was really rewarding, especially now that I was so close to my final goal. I decided to continue adventuring, slowly becoming more familiar with this infinite castle. I started seeing patterns between the rooms and becoming familiar with where I had to go. Eventually, I found a room that I hadn't seen yet, and waiting below was a lower moon that I hadn't killed yet. He summoned a stream of continuous serpents, but despite his strength, he wasn't a match for me at this point. I thought that would be the end of this room, but after turning the corner, there he was, Kokushibo, otherwise known as Upper Moon 1. Just like the others, I began attacking him with my first form. And here it goes. I started attacking close range with Stone Skin. So far, the strategy had proved successful against the other upper moons. We would continue to clash close range with relentless attacks, but eventually I had to eat, and he ended up doing some decent damage. But with my boar saturation, I was able to get back my lost health. Not long after though, he got some good hits and starting doing some serious damage. I decided to retreat for a second and drink my potion of regeneration to get back some health, but he followed close and I got the lowest I had been in a long time. So I used my fourth form to retreat upwards and regenerate. Upper Moon 1 was a monster. He was incredibly strong and had relentless attacking speed, but his one flaw was that he had a total lack of mobility. I jumped down and killed some random demons, that way they wouldn't intervene, and then proceeded to continue clashing with Kokushibo. However, after only a couple of hits, he got me under half health again, so I ate some boar meat and took some space. After hitting him with a fifth form, I got him under half HP, officially triggering his second phase. I was barely able to keep up with his first phase, so I didn't know what I would do against an upgrade. I decided to attack him with Stone Skin, but after realizing how stupid of an idea that was, I switched to my fourth form and decided to prioritize mobility and burst of damage. Sadly, that wasn't going anywhere, so I popped an enchanted golden apple and went in close range with the absorption. With the extra hearts and regeneration granted, I was able to continue attacking him and trading blows, even pulling off a third form. This dealt quite a lot of damage, so I decided to play it safe and eat another enchanted golden apple. I charged him and used a fifth form for some reliable damage, and then went up close to finally finish him off. This fight was tough, and part of me couldn't believe I made it out alive. If it wasn't for my final preparations, I definitely would have died. But either way, right now, there was only a single opponent left, the Demon King, Muzan Kibutsuji. After killing Kokushibo, I got teleported out of the Infinity Castle and back to my starting village. The reason was because the last bed I slept in was in this village, making this my respawn point. But when I walked outside, I finally saw the Demon King, Muzan Kibutsuji. I wasted no time and started attacking him. We traded blows back and forth, and in the start, I was just trying to get a feel for his damage output. I used Stone Skin to deal reliable damage, but ended up falling inside a ravine. I used my fourth form to try to get out, but then he decided to follow me inside. That ended up being a mistake on his part, since there was a Tanjiro inside that started attacking him. I decided to take advantage of this situation, so I ate my final enchanted golden apple and started running towards him inside a small hole within the cave. We both started attacking each other with 100% of our strength, going back and forth and trading hits. I used Stone Skin and continued hitting him, but that's when I realized that despite eating my enchanted golden apple, I was still getting really low, so I had to retreat. The poison was making it really difficult to tell how much health I had left, but after regenerating my health a bit, I decided to go back in. I would repeat this process of attacking him with 100%, running back out and regenerating, time and time again, hoping to shave off portions of his health. Ultimately, I knew this fight would take a while, since he did so much damage. I used a combination of fourth form to escape and the third form to deal damage reliably. I started eating my regular golden apples because I figured I would never need them again, and slowly but surely I got him to about a third of his health. That's when I realized this strategy was working, but it was also extremely risky, getting me low health multiple times and almost killing me. The only way I could kill him guaranteed was to lure him into the sunlight, but when I dashed outside to regen, I realized it had started raining, which meant I would have to stall him until the rain disappeared completely. That was definitely not an option, so I headed back in to try to pull off a miracle. He ended up getting stuck in a small hole, so I started spamming my first form from a distance, trying to do some reliable damage. A lot of the hits weren't actually connecting due to the stone cave protecting him, but either way it was better than nothing. Despite this, his thunder attack would still deal tons of damage, and I had to be careful. I would repeat this process over and over again until I got him less than 200 HP, but then he decided to retreat further inside the cave, so I had no choice but to follow him. Turns out the cave went really deep, and it got to a point where he didn't want to follow me further inside. I switched to my fourth form and kept dashing upwards, doing minimal damage every time, but no matter what, I wouldn't give up. Every dash, my victory got closer and his health got dimmer. I kept spamming my move time and time again, seeing the potential win, and one last time when I used my fourth form, I finally killed him. What a close fight. I almost died so many times and needed to use everything I had learned in the last 100 days. If it wasn't for my enchanted golden apple, the Tanjiro helping me out, and learning the mobility combo with my 4th form, I wouldn't have been able to survive. Either way, I dug outside the cave to finally see the sun in a peaceful world on day 100. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. My buddy Aido is planning to host a 100-player One Piece Civilization event in February, so if you guys want a chance to participate, make sure to join his Discord down below. He'll post more details about it in the upcoming months.